Hello there, folks. Hey, this is Joe Wazoo here. Hey, I got a database here from a customer who wants to make some changes to some kind of logic they're doing, and I don't have all of the I/O attached to this thing to do any testing with it. So I'm coming up with an idea. I'm thinking, wait a minute, why couldn't I go over to data tags? And you can see here they got a bunch of different cells for this application or machines or whatever. But anyway, each one of these has got a bunch of tags, and they're already mapped to the I/O. These guys are actually using some Banner wireless products to do this application. But you can see the tags are mapped to the different I/O out there, so they're all externally mapped. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to attempt to make these tags internal and then see if I can play with those to mimic the I/O they have. Now, before I do that, though, I definitely want to make sure I've saved my program with my new name, which I've done here. But I'm also going to do this. I'm going to click on, for instance, cell 1 here. Actually, you know what I think I'll do? Let's do this. Let's click on data tags. Yeah. And I'm going to go export all my tags. I'm going to try this. I'm going to export all my tags, and I'm going to put it in the same directory here where the job is. And I'll click here, and I'll just say all tags mapped. Okay. And I'm going to make this a CSV file instead of the ANSI type, or whatever. Do that. Click save. And this should export all of the tags. Okay. And this is the mapped, so they're all connected. And I'm going to do one more step now. I'm going to click on this cell 1, which is the original one here. And I want you to notice these guys are all currently mapped to I/O. So I'm going to do one more. I'm going to export this listing as a original mapped here as well. So I'm going to hit the pull down here and choose cell 1. Oops, number 1. Let me change this to CSV, and I'm going to call it cell 1 mapped underscore mapped, because these tags are all mapped. They're all connected. So I'm going to save. Boom. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to these ones that have red or green. Usually the red or green means they're mapped to external. Green is input only. Red is a writable tag. And I'm going to make these internal. So I'm going to make, and by the way, I noticed that one changed. I don't know if you saw that. Went from X to a pi. I don't know why it does that, but I'm going to make it back to an integer. And this one here, I'm going to go ahead and make this a internal. And this guy, how about this pointer? The pointer is kind of purple, but it is mapped to something that's an array tag. I have a video on that concept. Again, noticed it changed from an X to a pi. Why it does that, I don't know. Somebody will tell me in the comments, I hope. But down here, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that is looking at the pointer 12, which goes to here. You know, that's interesting. I'm going to make that into, well, I don't know if I'll make it pointer. I'll make it. I don't think that's actually even though it's red, it's going to this guy, which is mapped. I think it's fine. I'm going to leave that one alone. Yeah. All right. So now I'm going to click here on cell 1. I'm going to export this, and I'm going to change the name. I'm going to click down here, and this one's cell 1, and these are going to be, I'm going to call it internal, because these guys are all internal. Change this to cell 1 internal. There we go. And now that I've got that, I'm going to save this database as a slightly different name. So I had the original one here. I'm going to go File, pull down, and Save As, because I have now modified this. So I'm going to make sure that I save it as a different name. So I'm going to click on the last one I had here, and I might call this one at the end here cell 1, whoops, underscore internal, because this is all internal here. And remember this, 99% of the time, team, you want to click no to this. Always click no to this pop-up. All right, now I've got it saved. So now my goal is to try this out. Now, I don't have a DA30. That's what they're running this application on. And I can't run the emulator here in Crimson 3.1. So I'm going to modify this program for say, a Geo9, or I've actually got a 15-inch here. I'm going to make it to a 15-inch. So I'm going to go to the File, pull down. I'm going to do Save Conversion. I have a CR3K 15-inch here, so I'm going to go ahead and use this guy here. I'm going to convert. And of course, I'm going to pick on the same one, but I'll change the name of this one to be CR3K underscore 15 because that's what it is. All right. Now that I got that, I'm going to try this out. Now, before I really try it out, I'm going to go over here to display pages. And you can see here's their page. I'm going to make a page here. I'm going to make a new page. Change the background color to white here, maybe a light gray. And on this page, I'm going to go over here to data tags. And I'm going to grab this whole directory of tags from cell 1. And I'm going to go ahead and make this guy a little bigger like this. Like that. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. And for giggles, I'm going to make all of these fields that I can, I'm going to make them data entry so I can mimic things. So this one I don't think I can because it's yellow, but if I double click on this enable, I'm going to go right here where it says operation, make it data entry. And remember, I've got kind of weird rule. I like to give mine a little border. You don't have to do this for this testing. And I'll give the background color solid color white here. All right, so I'm going to try to apply all those attributes to the rest of these Yahoos. By doing this, I'm going to go ahead and highlight all these other items, right click, copy from, choose copy all formatting. Notice the trailing X, it's asking you who. I'm going to click on this guy. Okay, made the change now. I need a way to go from this page over to that page. So I'm going to go to the right side, primitives, core primitives, slide down about second row from the middle or second row from the bottom, middle column, click on bevel button, and I'm going to grab any of these, doesn't matter, I'll grab one of these, I'll drag it out here, and I'm going to have this button go to that other page as a pop-up. So I'm going to just go here and just call this one IO, for instance. Change the font color to white. Oops, that's a silver. Why is my mouse so touchy today? All right, and on the action, I'm going to have this guy go to page. It's going to be that page 1. They never named it, so this first page, page 1. I looked right here. That's where I looked. But I want it to open up as a pop-up, simple pop-up. So I'm going to do that. Click OK. And then if you're ever playing around with these things, you right-click on this, jump to. It'll take you to the page, which is this guy here. And, of course, I need to put a button on here that closes this. So maybe I will just go to symbols and maybe go into computer keys. And in here, I'm just going to maybe try the escape. Where's the, I think I saw escape somewhere here, didn't I? Right here. So I'll just grab this escape. I'll drag it out here. Of course, see it comes in really big. I'm just going to shrink this guy down, and I'm just going to make this button be the button that closes my pop-up. So if I go to properties, oops, I need to actually add the function. So I'm going to right-click on this guy. Third option from the bottom is add action. Now I get an action tab, and all I want this thing to do, team, is hide the pop-up. So the other thing is going to call as a pop-up. This hides it. All right, so here's my main page. I might just rename this guy main. There it is. Okay, and I just need to find the IP address of my local HMI here. So give me a second to look. My 15-inch is supposedly this number right here. Let me check. That's a 254. 192.168.254.117, I think it's. And hold on a second here. Okay, so I've got a local 15-inch here at this IP address. So if I want to use this for this program, I'm going to go over here to communications. Currently, this is what they're using here. So I'm going to make this actually DHCP mode because I'm changing this from this guy. And then I want to download to the HMI that's on my local network. So I'm going to change this to 192.168.254.157. And then because I'm kind of weird, I believe that HMI is using some different port numbers. 802, and the web page is there. Okay. So we're going to change this one to 802 here and here. And we're going to use the web page for this because I'm making this video. And that port they're using here is 1115. All right, I think the rest of this we'll leave alone. Let me just double check we got things set up. Yep, looks good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save this. I'm going to attempt to download it to my screen. Let me go to the link, pull down, make sure I'm using TCP. Yep, I sure am. All right, let's download it. Let's see what happens. Yep, we're going to continue because I'm downloading over something I already played with here. And let's see what happens. This should come up with this application. Let's see. All right, hit the refresh here. Let's see if it, okay, shows what they had there. Let's go here. Okay, notice the only one I did was this one. The rest of these are all dashed lines because they're still looking at the real tags, which is perfect. And if I click the IO button here, brings up this, which is perfect. Let me make this so this is a floater. I noticed that my recording window might not be showing this as well, so I'm make this a little bigger. All right, so we're looking at this here. Hit the IO button here. Let's go ahead and enable this, turn this on. It should enable that logic. Okay, says it needs a car, so censored. It needs a car, so that means the light should be on, I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna guess yes. Sensor, no car. If I turn this on, indicating I have a car present, what happens now? Car present, that's what shows up here. That's perfect. Okay, so really, this little trick I'm using, I can now use this to test some logic that they want to do and play around with this. Anyway, and when I get done with this as the logic, I can just go back to the application and actually just use the same application, save my code changes, and I should be off the races. Yeah. Thanks a lot, team. Have a good day. See ya.